Rural Malawi, 1980s. Yanakis Bros grows up in a small dusty village cut off from the outside world. For boys in his community, opportunity does not exist beyond the family farm. Every afternoon after school, most pick up hoes and carry buckets, helping their parents tend the fields until the sun dips below the horizon. But at 7 years old, Bros finds something the farm cannot give him. He finds escape. He finds joy. He finds football. He never owns an official match ball. Most days, he and his friends kick a lumpy bundle of tied rags across sun-baked dirt fields. They carve goalposts from broken tree branches pulled from the edge of the bush. They play straight from sunset until the light fades completely, until they can no longer see the rag bundle rolling through the dust. From the very first kick, his talent separates him from every other boy on the field. He has blistering speed, tight control of the rough ball, and an innate feel for the game that no coach can teach. Even as a child, he can read other players' movements before they make them. He does not know it yet, but this rag ball on a dirt field is the first step to national fame. At 14, Bros stepped into formal football for the first time. He earned a spot on the local village team, and the first rule of commitment became clear immediately. Practice was held 6 kilometers from his home. Every single practice, he walked that 6 kilometers there and 6 kilometers back. No exceptions. Rain turned the dirt path to mud that caked his ankles and pulled at his feet. Sun baked the dust until the air shimmered and his throat went dry. But he never missed a session. He never showed up late. One regional scout drove 3 hours into the countryside to watch a match. He arrived a day early to see a scheduled practice and got caught in a torrential downpour. He sat in his car, assuming the session would be canceled. No one else showed up, only Bros. He walked the 6 kilometers in the rain and waited by the empty field, ready to practice alone. That act of discipline stuck with the scout. The scout tracked Bros' progress for months. He watched Bros outplay older, bigger opponents week after week. He saw Bros turn every match around with a single burst of speed. After 6 months of observation, the scout secured Bros a trial with a second division club in the capital. Bros packed his only small bag, took the bus north, and impressed the coaching staff in the first hour of the trial. He earned his contract spot. He climbed the ranks one season at a time. When other players with more money and better connections burned out or dropped out, Bros kept showing up early and staying late. Within 8 years, he cemented his place as one of Malawi's most recognized attacking players. Bros' new life in the capital came with new obstacles the village never prepared him for. The first hit his feet. For months, he could not afford a proper pair of football boots. He played every practice and every match in scuffed, worn-out hand-me-downs, passed down through 3 older players before him. The soles flapped at the toe. The stitching split along the sides. He taped the cracks shut with worn electrical tape, tied the laces extra tight, and stepped onto the pitch anyway. Even then, the battle off the ball was harder than the battle on it. Most of the other players in the club grew up in the capital. They had access to youth training programs, family money for gear and travel, and connections that got them extra attention from coaches. They had been scouted since childhood, groomed for the professional ranks. Bros had nothing but the hours he put in on the dirt. Before one early match, a starting opponent laughed at his taped boots, joked that he should go back to herding goats in his village. Bros did not say a word. He just lined up for kickoff. By the 70th minute, he had scored 2 goals and dribbled past that same opponent 6 times. He never let the noise distract him. Every time he pulled on his kit, he carried more than just his own dream. He carried the hopes of every boy back in his home village, every kid who had kicked a rag ball across a dirt field and dreamed of more. All of this weight pressed down on him, tested his resolve week after week, match after match. But he never stopped pushing forward. He never cut a corner in training. He never gave an inch when the pressure mounted. Bros' consistent, game-changing play did not stay hidden for long. He signed with one of the top clubs in Malawi's Super League and claimed a starting spot in the first 11 within his first 3 months. He scored match-winning goals against title contenders week after week. His creative dribbling broke down even the tightest defenses. Word spread fast about the player from the dusty village who could turn any match on its head. Then the call came. A thin envelope delivered to the club office, inviting him to join the national team training camp for the upcoming regional tournament. That was his first ever call-up to the Flames, Malawi's national side. It was a moment he had imagined since he was 7 years old. Kicking a bundle of rags across sun-baked dirt, he stepped onto the national pitch for the first time and never looked back. Over the course of his full international career, he wore the national side 27 times. He found the back of the net 9 times, each one sparking wild celebrations across the country. He played with a cool confidence that made even the toughest opponents look slow. His technical polish left crowds leaning forward in their seats, waiting for the next moment of magic. Fans started filling every stadium he played in, long before kickoff. He did not just become a starter for the national team. He became a national icon. Even today, Bros stands as one of the most naturally talented footballers ever to come out of Malawi. But his impact stretches far beyond his own goals and matches. He has already inspired hundreds of young boys across the country. Kids in dusty rural fields name their homemade teams after him. They copy his stepovers, repeat his free kick routines, and dream of following in his footsteps. Bros knows firsthand every obstacle that blocks young rural players. Limited funding for youth programs, poor travel infrastructure, barely a handful of professional spots to compete for. So, he gives back what no one gave him when he was starting out. He shows up an hour early to every training he still attends, stays an hour late to practice crossing. On his days off, he volunteers at youth clinics, teaching young players the basics of the game. Every off-season, he travels across the country holding free training camps for rural youth. He tells every kid who asks the same thing: your starting point doesn't determine where you end up. Greatness can come from anywhere. All it takes is passion, discipline, and the courage to keep going, even when the road gets rough. That is the legacy Giannakis Bros leaves for Malawi. That is what it took for him to rise.